Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our latest Ascari webinar, introducing Boyum Cloud and with a particular focus on Boyum Cloud Inspect, which is their new quality control module. And so today is a quite simple presentation. I'm Alan Hughes. I'm the Solutions Director at Ascari, and shortly I'll be joined by Rosie Coronado, who's the Channel Enabler at Boyum, and has worked at Boyum for many years, has implemented SAP Business One in the past as well, so knows how well Boyum products work with SAP Business One. And in fact, they're actually one of our major partners that we always look to get their solutions into our customer sites because they bring so much value. And from just a general overview perspective, Boyum IT, they've got now over 8,500 customers in their customer base worldwide. They're installed in over 100 countries, and there's well in excess of 200,000 users using Boyum products every day, of which Boyum Cloud is now becoming an increasingly popular side of things as well, because that was specifically designed to work for manufacturing businesses. And the existing modules that Rosie will show you in a second, being Boyum Cloud Build and Boyum Cloud Produce, are designed for manufacturers, as I say. But with this new Inspect module, not only is it good for manufacturers from a quality control perspective, it's just as useful for distribution businesses. So anyone who wants to quality check products, stock, whatever you want to call it, it's a really good option in that case. So I'm going to bring in Rosie shortly, so bear me a second. Hello, Rosie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. What I'm going to do now, Rosie, is make you the presenter, and we'll go from there.
Perfect.
I will say to anyone on here today, you'll see on your screen there is the ability to ask questions via text, or you can mark. You can actually flag yourself, and we can always ask questions and answer them later. Or alternatively, if you just want to do it individually afterwards, Rosie and myself will make ourselves available to speak to all of you that are attending today. So thank you, Rosie. I'll let you continue the presentation.
Thank you, Alan. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. Well, what I'm going to show you today, as Alan said, is going to be our new product, Inspect. Okay, it will be rolled out, to be honest with you, in March. It's coming out, but I will show you a sneak peek, and then hopefully you like what you see. But let's get started. So Inspect module is really its quality control. As you all know, SAP Business One does not have a quality control feature, and that's when Boyum is really always looking. That's why I like it so much, because I used to implement SAP Business One, as Alan mentioned, and there is such a great solution, SAP Business One, but there is still some stuff missing, and this is really going to fill the gap on the quality control. You will have a beautiful dashboard. So one of my favorites, because we have some other products like Produce, which totally supports your production process. Like we have like terminals for production orders for SAP Business One. And like here on the Inspect, on the quality control, you will also have a dashboard. It maybe isn't gonna look like exactly what you see here. I talk to development to give me a print screen what they're thinking of, and as you can see, you will be able to see best performing items, worst performing items on the quality control, and so on. Beautiful overview for a quality control manager. There is two different applications, so keep in mind the quality control, the way it's designed is you have a manager license. You as the manager release the inspection plans. You're in control and say, okay, I'm going to release this quality control order for somebody to do the samples for example, basically. So the manager, as you know, the manager got to make sure the items are good. And the beauty is, and you guys all know, is quality control is so important. And I just actually did another webinar about that, because it all goes back. Do you have good inventory in your system? Imagine you're going to go to a production order, and then you realize that the batch you're just trying to use on raw material is not good, and you really lose business on that. You cannot reach your goal, your deadline, and so on. So as the quality control manager creates the inspection plans, they release it whenever they are ready to do so. They can actually see the progress. So they can go in and say, okay, Rosie, she's an operator, she's working on this quality control order, but I see out of 10 samples, she only has done 3 so far, and they failed or they passed, and so on. Okay. So quality control manager has full overview on what's going on with the orders. You see here also, and ignore the misspelling up here, but I wanted to pull in this slide. Quality control manager also, of course, can set it up. Hey, when I doing production, when I receive items in or post-production. So you have flexibility. When do you want to do quality control? Which makes sense, right? You do a production order. Hey, this is a big production. I'm doing the production. Hey, let's check some samples now to make sure we're still on track with our measurements or whatsoever. Okay? So that's another thing the quality control manager will be able to set up. And it works beautiful on a tablet, as you can see here. That's why we put this print screen in there. So again, quality control manager, inspection order, approval status, progress of execution, as I just mentioned. And it's real time. So one thing you never have to worry about it. Oh, let me synchronize this now that I did this inspection order so my manager can see it. It's real time. They know exactly what's going on. They know exactly who is working on it also. And then you have the inspection operator. So maybe that's me. I'm the one. So Alan just is the manager. He sent me over the orders, and I'm the one executing these orders. And then I can say, okay, I'm done with this. And as soon as I'm done, the manager will see that I completed the inspection. Okay, so you can do samples, you can do attributes, and so on. And I will show you in the system in a minute. Okay, so again, you have the manager side, and then you have the operator side. The operator are the ones that execute the quality control orders, and very simple to do, very straightforward, very nice UI, and ease to use. So let's go into the system actually. So there we go. So you have a Launchpad, the Boyum Cloud products, very important to know. Those are different products. Okay, so we say Boyum Cloud, it's really not right, it's a platform. So we have a build product, we have a produce product. Just to show you, well, actually, I go back to there later. Let's go into the inspect, okay? And you can see here, coming soon. I can tell you, it's coming out in March, so you really have access in March to it. But I can give you a sneak peek, okay? So there is my inspect manager logon. And as you can see, there are my inspection orders, my inspection plans. There's my sampling plans. Let me go into sampling plan. So you can say, you decide what your plan does. You can say, this is a fixed plan. It's always going to be 5 samples, no matter what quantity you put in there. If you put 20 in there, you put 50 in there, it's always 5 samples. Or you do, let me go in here again, a percentage. You can say if it's between items 1 to 20, I have 2% samples, 21 and up, I have 5% to sample. So again, and you just can keep going, of course, okay? So you decide, you create your sample plans, then you create your inspection plans here. If I go to inspection plan A, you see this inspection plan A, it has one test, it needs to reach 85%. I'm very generous, I guess. And your options are passed, failed, or maybe. You can create defects. So if it fails, somebody has to put in a defect. And then I have another test, okay? And it goes between the minimum is 10 kilograms, the maximum 15. I'm very generous here too. And the desired is 12, okay? And I need an 86% of target. But let's create a new, so you create the inspection plans, but let's create a manual order so you see it. You also see those buttons here. So finalize is they're finished. Let me look at this actually. Let's look. So see, there was only one, it was only failed or passed. It failed the inspection. The pass rate was only 50%. You have a nice chart here also. Okay, so me as the production manager, I can finalize it, okay? Meaning it's gonna be done and it's gonna go away from here because I reviewed it and I can finalize it right here. Now you think, okay, I have a green finalize and I have a not a white finalize. So what this is a partial, those are like partial quality control orders, and you figured out something is wrong with it, and though they haven't finished all the samples, you can finalize it also, okay? So you have full total flexibility as the manager. And the ones that are not approved, that means the operator, if I'm on the floor and I'm looking at all the production orders, the quality control orders, I won't be able to see it because they have not been approved. Okay, but let's keep it simple, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to put in an inspection order, and I'm going to say a fixed plane here, and I'm going to say the type of inspection is a product. Okay, and I'm going to say I'm going to do this product, this item, and there's 20 of them. Okay, and I'm going to click save. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to the bottom. I think it's the last one. It must be 24. I just did. And I'm going to build it from scratch just so you see. So I'm going to say, I'm going to add a plane, and I'm going to say test 1. And I'm going to say it has to be 90%, the approval target. And it's an attribute test. So I'm going to say it's passed, I'm doing it backward. I'm going to say, okay, then I have failed. And like I said, then if you chose to be, it's a fail test, then I want you to choose one of those defects, okay? And then maybe, as you saw earlier, one is maybe. And I'm going to change this to manual. So maybe they didn't know, maybe they need to have somebody else look at it. Okay, then I'm going to say, I'm going to do a second test. And again, I'm going to say, okay, passing rate is 90, and this is a variable test. And I'm going to say minimum, let's just do it 10, desired is 11, maximum is 12. And it's kilogram or each or meter. You set those unit of measures here. Okay, let's say meters in this case. And you see what's really nice when you don't see that save button right here. That means you're missing something. I didn't put a name on this test, and now I'm gonna have save button. So I created this. This is my plan. Okay, so I'm gonna prove it. So first I'm gonna go over to my operator. So I'm logging in as this person now. So I'm working as a manager. Now I'm gonna log in as the operator. And you see there is 2 inspection plans I'm working on. I can open this up and I see that I did some samples right here. I haven't completed the order, but I can complete it, and you see it's finished. And the manager can see that I completed that order. This one is in progress. Let's see what's going on here. And if I drop down here, you see, okay, this was also a quality, an order with 5 samples. Yes, 5. And I only did the first one. And it tells you right here, 1 out of 5 are completed. So I just did 1. I haven't completed this order yet. But what I'm going to do, I'm the manager, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to approve this one. And now it's creating the samples. Remember, it's going to look at the one plane, the sample plane I chose, and there we go. It created the 5 samples. And guess what? If I'm going in here, I can see it here right now. Here it is. It's real time. That's how fast it goes. So it's real time. It's over here. And let's say I'm going to go in and I'm going to start working on that. So I'm going to click on the line. It opens up to the right. Then I can say, okay, this one passed. And the measurements were 11.5. Okay, so it passed also. So it goes through it, okay? Then, oops, then I go to the second one, or I say next here. Of course, I'm gonna say passed again, and this was 11.75. The reason I'm doing this, then I'm gonna say next. And I'm gonna say maybe failed. Okay, it had this, okay? And then the measurements were 11 though. So the measurements were good, but it failed on this side, okay? And I'm gonna say passed. And again, we're gonna say measurements were 11.90. And I'm gonna say next, so you have your samples and you're gonna go through it, okay? And there is one more. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna pass it, and I'm gonna say this was 10.5. Okay, there we go. And now I'm gonna review my order, and you have a nice review right here. Okay, so this is all correct. That's what I did. I failed one of them, and maybe I walk away. So if I go to the manager, I want to show you something. The manager goes in here, goes to the inspection orders, goes to the 24. I have so many. Get out of here. So the manager looks on this. The manager can see already what's going on. And the beauty is, you see, the difference is, okay, it was a little bit over than desired, over. This was a little bit under, okay? And the inspection actually failed, okay? Because the pass rate wasn't good. I'm on my side, I can say, okay, I'm done. So I'm going to say complete the order. And then it goes away on my side, me as the operator, because I completed it. So they want to send me another one, of course. And the manager can go in here. It didn't do anything really different now, but the manager goes in here and they can say, okay, this is what happened, the results, okay, it's 100% complete. The pass rate was 50 because I failed this one. I gotta see, I think that might be a little bit miscalculated. And then I'm gonna say, you see, who did it? It was last updated, and that's the beauty. And you will have also right here like a little reports where you can always pull up past production orders. I'm sorry, quality control orders, and I can finalize it. And then the manager won't see that one either, of course, and see, hey, I finalized it, I was good with that, and maybe create another production order and so on. Okay, so that's our quality control solution. Like I said, you have 2 modules. You have the inspect module, and please, if you have questions, just type it or unmute yourself. Alan is actually looking at the chat, so I cannot see it, so Alan has to do that. So
yeah, we've already got some questions, Rosie.
Okay.
The thing I wanted to ask as well, actually, is you know, just from a reporting point of view, where do you see this working, and how will reporting work with this?
Perfect question, and Alan, this is funny. I get these questions every time. Of course, because a lot of people want to send a report back to the vendor, whatever. Yes, you will have the you will be able to report. We are still actually thinking about it. We got some feedback already from customers and from partners. It's most likely we're going to feed in the data into SAP, so you can use your Crystal Report knowledge, because you already know that from SAP. It runs with Crystal Report, and you can design your inspection order form the way you want it. So there will be, you are able to do reporting also. I cannot show it, it's not available yet, but that's also coming. good question, because everybody asks it. Everybody wants that. Yes.
Okay, and it might be worthwhile. I always like to paint a picture, a story, shall we say, of how things work. So, what would happen if you wanted to start performing an inspection on some incoming material or products or components?
Yes, absolutely. And this is actually something I have right here. So you can decide. Let me go back. That's why I had this slide. So you can say for goods receipts, okay? And you can do it by certain item groups. You can do it by supplier. Imagine I'm your vendor and I'm like, oh, she's a new vendor. I'm going to make sure an automatic quality control order will be created because she's a new vendor. I want to make sure the material is good. Absolutely. So you can do it by receiving goods in. You can do it during production, which is very nice. Like I mentioned earlier, you have a huge order from this item. You got to do samples once in a while to make sure maybe your what measurements are still right, and then of course after production. And that's super exciting, and you can do it by group or by vendor. So you decide who do you wanna, when do you wanna do your quality control and by what items. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. And I'm aware that there's quite a number of people on today's meeting, and some of them may have not come across Boyum Cloud before. So let's just take a moment just to talk about how licensing works for this, because people will want to know: do you need an SAP license for this? How do the prices work? It'd be great if you could explain that, please, Rosie.
Yes, I can. So Boyum Cloud, it's up here. It's on a web browser. It's connected to the service layer. You do need a license, of course, for the product you're running. If you see this is the same name, produce and produce operator and manager, you need at least one manager license because the manager license runs it, right? And the operator executes it. So usually you have a couple manager licenses and maybe you have 20 terminal users, right? Same with inspect. You will need an indirect SAP license for each user. That's all you need for SAP, an indirect license, okay? So, yeah, and then there's subscription prices, and I don't know him, but Alan can reach out to Alan. He probably has the list. You can sign up for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, okay, subscription, or even for a quarter if you want to try it out. People just buy it for a quarter. Hey, does it work for me? And I know it will. So that's how it works. So you need, if you have an SAP user, let's say if somebody's on there and they already have a CRM user or any kind of user for SAP, because you're going to work on here and in SAP, of course, you don't need another license. You don't need another indirect license, of course not. But the minimum is an indirect SAP license. Okay?
Good.
Was that clear, Alan? Yeah.
Important to know that. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this released because, as I said before in the introduction, this isn't just going to be just for manufacturing as the other Boyum Cloud products are. This really opens up distribution generally because everyone needs to do quality inspections. So I think that's really important. It's probably worthwhile as well as that there are some questions that have come through, so I'll read them to you, Rosie, and just see what your viewpoints are. I've been asked, will you have the option to approve unapproved inspection orders like production orders in the Produce Manager?
No, good question. I've gotten this before, not yet. Not yet, not on the Produce Manager, so it is separated right now. But this is something really, guys, we are very listening to you guys because I've heard that before. It could be a possibility that they might do that, but I haven't heard anything yet. I can't, not on the roadmap right now. Let me put it there.
Well, it's probably worthwhile then me noting that down, and just every time I have a monthly meeting with you guys at Boyum is to actually say, let's get this in the roadmap. So that's
exactly.
Another question that's come through is with to do with units of measure. So they're asking if we're able to create their own units of measure for tests specific to their industry.
Yes, you should be able to, because you set them up here. You set the unit of measure right here, add unit of measure for your testing. Yes, you can do that.
Good, that's a tick then, that's good. And there's only a couple more, but one of them was, would we be able to set parameters per products as per what is in the item master data, or would we have to currently create inspection orders and templates per product?
you will be able to set up plans and then you attach them to your orders. I think that's what you're asking. So you don't have to do it manually like I did, because I wanted to show you. You will have your plan set up and say, okay, I'm going to do an order for this and I'm going to pull this plan in here. Will that answer? I hope that answers.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't, I'm sure we'll be asked again, so that's no problem. The final question that I've been sent through thus far is it possible to run Inspect Operator and Produce Operator on the same tablet at the same time?
Oh yeah, I don't see a problem at all, because as you see, I'm on a laptop, obviously, but you see I have them both open.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that's all the questions that have been sent through so far. But I think it's probably worthwhile, while you're here and we've talked about Inspect, is just to have a quick reminder of what Build and Produce is. So it's key for me, especially in manufacturing. This is a really cost-effective way of gaining more control of costs and understanding of your manufacturing process without having to invest an absolute small fortune on large manufacturing plugins. And it's proving popular because of that. So an increasing number of our customers at Scari are manufacturing and distribution businesses. But from a manufacturing angle, could you just have a quick couple of minutes just explaining what Build and Produce is, please?
Absolutely. So you guys see my Launchpad. So those are our products. This is one product, this and this. So Build is really, and be honest with you, I just showed it the last couple of days so many times and people love it. You get a product request. So let's say you do a lot of bill of material, engineer to order. Maybe it takes you a while to build that bill of material. You can go in here and start building your request. So you start by here putting in the item. You can create a new item from here. Actually, you can, before I go through this, you can also, here is your item master from SAP. You can find a new, an existing item. Let's say this is a produced item, finished good. I'm going to pull it up. You see, this is what my BOM looks like. And maybe you say, you know what, we are not supporting this product anymore. That went out of business. I don't know. So I need to change my BOM. So you just go in here and just switch the material, what you're going to add to this BOM, and you save it. And guess what? This is saved in SAP. So your bill of material now is updated in SAP. Always remember it's real time. I hope I keep pushing this, because I used to implement, and there's nothing worse than not having a real-time system, because you never know what's going on. So now this bill of material is updated in SAP. This is an existing BOM, but maybe you got a request. So if I go in here, I just pull one out I have already. This is the title. This is maybe a description. This is my item. Absolutely, you can create new items here. You can create it from on the fly, new items, resources, and operations from here. Maybe I send you an attachment. Maybe I send you a picture. It's right here. I can create tasks. Maybe I say, hey, I have to call or check on the specification. So then you start building the bill of material. You can input the items, you can copy from another item, you can do it manually. Then you have your operation plans. So here you start building your BOM. And the way you build it here, again, is just drag and drop. Okay? So you just make sure you drag and drop your items, in here. Let me go in here. So you build your BOM here. And I didn't save it, but what it does, you see green, I like the colors always. Green is a resource, yellow is subassembly, and blue is raw material. Then you go here, you can look at it at a different view, item structure. You actually can expand the subassembly right here, so you know what's underneath. And the most beautiful thing is on the build module, before you upload that bill of material to SAP, you can do your price calculation. That's huge. Cannot do that in SAP. So you have set up your calculation percentage here, and then it calculates it for you. So this is the sales price. But maybe you say, you know what, I need to put this up. And you see the price changes. I maybe told them I do less here. I don't know. you just start playing with your price calculation, or maybe it's only $300 to ship that. And then you have a nice chart, and then you also have a list overview, which is very much like you as a customer. You want to know what material costs what makes this up, and then you release it and send it up to SAP Business One. And then the bill of material will be in SAP, and if you click this update sales price on release, your sales price list you actually chose before you did the calculation will update in SAP. Beautiful tool. If you do bombs, if you have to update bombs a lot, you don't have to go into SAP. You just go on your browser and do it straight from here. That's the build module, product management. Then we have the produce manager. Produce manager it's like inspect. Inspect will have the same function. So you will have a dashboard. You see, the produce manager sees that, hey, there's an operator working on this production order. And this production order has 4 operations. 1 is completed. Hey, the 3rd one was partial stop for whatever reason, and the 2nd one is running. And it's medium priority. It's in progress, okay? He can also look at all the production orders right here. He has a beautiful overview again. He says how many operations this one has. This one is completed. He could finalize it. That would close it out in SAP. What's really nice is you see this one's unapproved. Those are status planned in SAP. Approved is released. If I go over here to the operator, let me just take this one that was partial finished and let me start again. And there we go, it's running. I'm an operator, I'm starting it again. I have instructions here. You can put instructions in there in your production order in SAP. I have a tablet, remember tablet again, and I started this one and I'm starting to work on it. Now, go back to the manager. The manager now sees right away, hey, Rosie is working on the same production order, but she's using 2 resources. She's working basically on 2 operations, okay? So now maybe the manager says, you know what? And you see those 2 are green now. The partial is gone because I'm working on those 2. Now the manager says, I want to release it, but I want to check if I have the material. So he clicks on it, 1, 2. Then he can do material availability. And it checks your inventory. And oh, we love green, don't we? It's available, material is available. This one is used on this production order already. I'm doing good. You would have different statuses. You have yellow, I believe it's when it's an order, and red, hey, you have a problem. Everything looks good on my end. So I can say I'm going to release this ones. Watch this. That's 253, production order 253, 254. I'm going to release it. And I'm going to jump over to the operator. Oops, wrong one. And you're going to see right here, they're going to come in here, 253, 254. Because as soon as I release it, the production operator can see it once it's released. They cannot see it. There we go. Just came in. They cannot see it if it's unapproved. Only when it's approved. So you really have already flexibility what they can work on. Then you have the transaction history, same like you're going to have an inspect. You want to look up a posting, you have it all here. If something was wrong, you will see it right away because it will tell you. You have an overview, you have a detailed overview. If something went wrong, it will tell you what it was. This one would have gone into negative. And you also can set up your operators just like it's going to be on the inspect. So you can say, hey, when Rosie logs on, she only can work on those resources. So you have full control over it. I'm not going to save it because I need it for the demos, so to see everything. But this is the produce. It's really terminals for SAP and way more, because this view for the production manager and have all this flexibility and control and the dashboard, I think it's amazing. You know exactly what's going on. You can also see what you have closed the last 7 days. I haven't. And it tells you, hey, you were on time or you were not on time. So those are our cloud products. And, contact Alan if there's anything you need, or you say, hey, this really would work for me. I mean, to me, anybody who does production in SAP, if you use production orders in SAP, this is the solution for you. Because it doesn't matter what kind of production orders you have it right here. This is an extension. It gives you more flexibility, and you have everything at your fingertips.
I'm pleased to say we have some more questions for you, Rosie. So just talking about Inspect again,
Yes.
we've been asked, can it upload attachments, example, supplier certificate of conformance?
Not yet. We have gotten that. I think that's on the roadmap. Not yet. Yes.
Okay, so it won't be in the initial release, but it probably will be in a near future one.
Yes, because people want to attach pictures. If it's wrong, they can say, hey, this is the proof. Absolutely. Yes, very important. Yes, it's coming.
There's a consistent theme here on documents. So can it manage storage of received documents of supplier pre-shipment release? Is the next question.
Say that again?
Can it manage the storage of received documents of, say, a supplier's pre-shipment release? So if a supplier said they're going to supply X to the factory or the production center, can that be stored against the record before it actually comes in?
I don't know if I understand.
Well, we'll further investigate that one then.
Please. We can have a call on that.
Yeah, that's fine. There's 2 or 3 more. Can the system bring in SAP delivery items into the system automatically?
Delivery item. Say it again.
Can Inspect bring in SAP delivery items into the system automatically?
So I believe it is when they do deliveries before they do the delivery, do the inspection order.
I'm anticipating that's the case as well.
Yes, that's coming. Yeah, that's coming. I don't have it on my print screen, but you should be able, before you send it out, that you can inspect it. Yes.
Fine. Okay.
That's what I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. And a question here, which I think we'll be able to answer quite quickly. Can the Inspect module work with just the inspector side of it without the manager side of the module?
No, you need the manager module.
You need at least one manager, don't you?
You need at least one.
Control the process.
Absolutely.
It could be the same person who's doing the actual checking, but it does need someone there, so you've got something to build reports from, I would have thought.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Well, that's all the questions that are general for everyone to. I've got a couple of specific ones to ask you later for a particular client. But was the one thing I also wanted to say, I believe there's something really functional and good in the latest version of the B1 usability package as well. Could you bring that up as well as a sort of finale to today? Because I think that's going to be quite useful to a lot of people that are online today in our meeting.
Yes. I don't have the database open. I know it. Give me 1 second. Yes. You're talking about the Kanban board?
That's right.
There we go. Yes, guys, if you have the usability package and you haven't upgraded yet, upgrade it, because we have a really cool tool now in there with the latest. I think it was the latest. It was January, February. I think it's February 1. I think I have February running, and let me load it. We have a Kanban board now. And this is so neat. If you already have our cloud products, some of them, and the drag and drop, we all like our drag and drop. If you go right here, it's part of the dashboards. So we have a Kanban board. So, and then you can say, okay, this is a Kanban board for my opportunities. Then I can say, okay, I'm going to move this one over to the first meeting, and you can drag and drop your opportunities, and it updates the status. And you can go in here, edit Kanban board, create new one, depending on your company, right? Or select the different ones. So we provide you with those, okay? So if I go, let's stick with production. Production orders, planned, released. Watch this. I'm going to release it now. You or want to close one, it's probably, I don't probably can move it because there's probably something not right. But you have a Kanban board now here where you can work on it, okay? And drag and drop. Build your own depending on your process, or we have all those predefined ones. Beautiful, very well done. And if you don't know yet, we also have a calendar that came already last year, where it shows you all the documents for their due. And then you can also say, hey, I'm not gonna reach this due date on this activity, and you drag and drop it and it changes the due date for you. And of course you can open it up from here. Okay, it changes the due date to the one you dropped it to. And the other thing you can do, I just did this actually for a prospect, that's what they ask. You see those different colors, like you can say, okay, if it's that's not a good, I don't know what document it was. If it's a sales order, if it's blue, a sales order is blue, it's this salesperson. If it's yellow, it's another salesperson. If it's red, so you can customize your calendar the way you want it for your company. So just so you know, but this is the newest one, the Kanban board.
And it's I wanted to show this, Rosie, because a number of the people that are online today have already got the B1 usability.
Oh, perfect.
Some do not. Quite simply, I think SAP Business One shouldn't be sold without it. It's one of those highly configurable tools that just makes the system much more user-friendly and useful to a business. And it's remarkably powerful in the fact that the way you can configure screens and even down to field level, making things mandatory, moving things from one screen to another, making user-defined tables or fields visible on the main screens. Those sort of things. It just makes SAP Business One much more flexible. And the beauty is it's not bespoking. It's still fully supportable. And you know, so from our perspective, we like to look after our customers and keep them happy by giving them good service, not by tying them into software products that actually mean you can't move elsewhere. To me, it's a no-brainer. B1 Up should always be purchased with SAP Business One. But,
I agree. It's a must for me.
That's for us to persuade the customers, so I understand that. It's thanks very much, Rosie. Was there anything else you thought was worthy of highlighting today's meeting?
No, I think we did. Let me just, since you talk about the usability package and I have it open because I have quite some sessions today. We also, if you have the usability package, guys, you also have a web dashboard. A lot of people don't know that if you have it. So you can create your dashboard like you have it here in SAP. Since you just mentioned it, I'm going to cover it really quick. So you have like a sales dashboard, for example, or a purchase production, very popular production dashboard. And then you can actually, maybe you have a big screen in your shop floor or anywhere. This is a production dashboard. Actually, it comes from BS manufacturing on this end. Or I'm going to change my database and I'm going to pull up the sales dashboard. Just imagine you have a big screen somewhere. Then you can pull up the dashboard. Oh, it's not going to work because I have to refresh it. I had it running since yesterday. You can pull up that particular dashboard on a big screen. Very important. So you decide in SAP actually if you allow this dashboard to be on the web, be available on the web dashboard, web enabled. So just so you know, get with Alan, set it up, because a lot of people, I get this a lot, have a big screen somewhere in their office, important data. When I walk in, I see exactly, hey, this is going on, this is what we need to finish today. Okay, just since I had it open, I thought I'd run it by you.
No, and fine. And then one final question from one of our viewers today, but also one I've talked to you about before personally, is that you know, are Boyum still planning at some point of making Boyum Cloud and the usability package work together?
Yes. Well, yes, the Boyum, the SAP Cloud. Is that what? Oh, that Boyum, this one?
Yes.
Boyum Cloud. We will have some more flexibility. We're going to add user-defined fields. If we can have the usability working for us, you know what? I have not gotten that, but it's a good question, and I will check on that.
No, that's fine. It's something that I would particularly keen to know, because I've been talking about the usability package for so many years now to customers. If we can get that sort of level of flexibility added into the Boyum Cloud products as well, it only makes it more compelling. It makes it even easier to make that decision to actually roll it out in a business. Right. So I think it would be a good idea.
Yep.
But no, thanks very much, Rosie. That's the end of all the questions that have been sent to us. Thanks everyone for attending. It's been a good session. It's nice to have some questions thrown at us as well. If you need any more information or you wanted a more detailed presentation specifically to you and your requirements in your business, please contact me and then I'll liaise with Rosie and we'll work together to do that for you. Rosie is actually based in Atlanta in the States, so she's not mad. Her clock on her computer screen at the bottom is correct. She is in the United States. So it's very much a case of that normal demonstrations of something specific would be held in an afternoon. But as long as you're aware of that, we are more than happy to provide this to you. So thanks again, everybody. I'll close the presentation now and look forward to speaking to you all again in the future. Thanks very much.
Thank you all for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.